This video is for people that want to be somebody, and it's a trick. It's a hack. It's an observation. It's like something that I've realized over time, and is that you have to show up, right? What I mean is, like, we all want to be someone, right? You're watching this. You want to be somebody. You want to be part of life. You want to, be part of the society. You want status or whatever you want, but you need people for whatever it is that you want. You're gonna need people, and some of us actually suffer from that, right? There's like this idea of anxiety. There's stress. There's like a discomfort out of dealing with people and dealing with these type of things, and it gets tricky because it's like, well, you want to be someone, but you struggle to deal with people. And what I'm saying is, like, it doesn't matter if you failed in the past. And this is the key here. It's like, it doesn't matter what happened before. What's going to matter is at those moments, right? At the moments when there's a cookout, at the moment when there's a barbecue, the moment when there's a, some type of event, you got to be there, right? You got to be there because that's when it matters, right? And if you're not there, well, the narrative is going to be made for you. Oh, where's so-and-so? Oh, forget about him. He's gone, whatever. Nobody cares. Whereas if you're there, we can see it. We can see who you are at that moment. And that's what really matters most, right? There are things that maybe you failed in the past. Maybe you struggle with some things. You won't be able to explain yourself for everything. You won't be able to go to everybody like, hey, this is what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And it kind of sucks. It kind of sucks because you wish you could, but you won't be able to. And that's the reality of life. It's what it is. But what is the hope is that if you show up, now the narrative is in your hands. And that's the price to pay. That's where you have control. But, you look at events and for some reason, you don't go. You even convince yourself that, like, whatever it is, it's cringe. It's, oh, I don't want to see people, blah, blah. And then you won't even know. You can't even regret it. You can't regret not going to these things because you don't know what you missed out on. You're unaware of it. But what I'm saying is, like, you're gonna suffer more out of not going to these things, right? Some people skip their prom. Some people skip school trips. Some people skip dances and high school reunions. I just had one. People skip all these things, but it's like, if you were to just show up, just be there. Like, that's all it would take. That's all it takes. And you can work on yourself, before the next event. And maybe you have no event right now. Maybe there's nothing that, like, you see coming up that you could, like, think about as fulfilling to this idea. But it doesn't matter. There's gonna be something. There's gonna be someday at the mall. There's gonna be someday at this festival. There's gonna be someday at this person's birthday party. But if you're ready for that one time at the mall and people see that, like, you're in good spirits, you're in good places, you're working, you're moving, blah, 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 then you get invited to this other place. Then you go to this other place, and then you meet other people, and then blah, 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 blah. And then now you have a social dynamic going on. But you being all this, for whatever reason, not participating, not showing up, not, being all ghosts and stuff, maybe that's why you're struggling. Because it's true, you have no control. It's true. I understand how you'd feel anxious. I understand how you'd feel, like, damn, like, there's nothing I can do to change who I am in the world of the people that know me, because I'm not there. And you can act like, oh, it's only my own perception that matters, but there are people that are valuable in your life. You value their perception. You can act like you don't. And the only few people that, like, actually don't are a whole other category of people that, like, it's actually not healthy to do so. The right way, like, the most of us, the natural way of things is that naturally you're gonna care about what some people think. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with you for that. It's true that you don't have control over what they think, but you can control your actions in front of them. And when your actions are legitimate to you, you won't be worried about how they look at you. But if you care about what they think and you're never there, and you feel like the perception that people have of you is negative, and you refuse to show up to when those people are there, and you know you're welcome to show up, then what do you expect to happen? What do you expect to happen to you as who you are in society, who you are as, you know, as a person? Who's gonna say? Who's gonna dictate that? Well, it won't be you. And so who's gonna look out for you more than you on this front? No one. And so if you're already anxious and you keep missing these things, then anxiety is gonna stay, but then you won't know, like, you know, where this anxiety comes from. You're gonna associate it to other things. You could keep going like this. People could spend their whole life anxious, but they won't even know what happens. This anxiety, this discomfort is gonna lead to other things, and parts of you will die, and you'll be left with parts of you left. And then by the time you're at a certain age, you're fragmentation of what you used to be. And now it's past. It's past terrible. It's not really words now, you know. And if you're, you know, seeing this, and you don't, and you feel like you're part of this, you can show up in places you're not invited. You have Instagram, for example. You could show up to Instagram. You can show up to YouTube. You can show up to all these different things. You can be there. Everybody has Instagram. You have at least one person that follows you if you have a page. It could be like anybody, or people will run into your page eventually. And when they run into it, what are they gonna see, right? Whose life is this, bro? Like you gotta do something to be here. And that's the control that you have in your hands. Don't let this life go by and be like all caught up within yourself because whatever reason you don't want to be part of it. You're here. You're already part of it, whether you want it or not. Like it's irrelevant. So take accountability. Be a man about it. Like it's here. Boom. Now you can't escape it. So make it great. Make it great, not just for you. Make it great so that the people that will see you will be inspired to be great as well. Because otherwise people are going to see you and see mediocrity and be inspired to be mediocre then. Right? If I show up to hang with you and I have crack with me, drugs with me, like, aren't you more likely to do drugs? By definition, yeah, because it's there. If I show up with, I don't know, like exercise equipment, are you more likely to work out if we're hanging together? By probability, yes, because I have it. And so that's the influence we have with one another. We it's embedded. It's part of the reality. It's not a oh, like yes or no. It's factual. And so never miss these things. Like you have it. So all these excuses are gone. Like you can't say, oh, I'm not invited anywhere. You can't say I'm not. I don't care. They're all debunked right now. We just went through them together. Right? And then the only question that would remain is like, why do you refuse to see it? Why would you refuse to look at it? What is it that like you're actually that holds you back from going to people, right? What are these beliefs about people that you hold? Because you're actually just then choosing to live in pain rather than just taking the risk of being disappointed. And this is reflection that you could have. These are questions that you can ask yourself, and these are things that are worth doing so that you don't waste time later, and you can afford to do it now, at least more than later in life, because the more time passes, the more things are going to be at risk, the more things are going to be on your plate, and you can't afford to do these things as much. And so I encourage anybody watching this to take the time to do all this stuff, like to not distract yourself, to not overconsume and do all these things, and isolate if you need to. Take time. You don't need to burn bridges and stuff, but take the time to ask yourself these questions.